Every single man, woman, and child on this planet is going to die.
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
In The Wolf of Wall Street, the scene where Jordan was struggling to get into his car was improvised by Leonardo DiCaprio. DiCaprio came up with the idea for his character to open the car door with his foot. He ended up straining his back doing that little stunt, so he could only do the scene once. In Killers of the Flower Moon, Leo flirts with Lily Gladstone while driving her around town, teasingly asking about other men in her life. When she responds in the Osage language, he grins and says,
I
don't know what she said, but it must have been Indian for handsome devil.
That line was made up on the spot by DiCaprio, and Lily Gladstone's laughter was completely genuine. Martin Scorsese also revealed that the moment was unscripted, perfectly capturing the natural chemistry between the two actors.
I don't know what she said, but it must have been Indian for handsome devil.
In What's Eating Gilbert, Grape, the scene where Arnie slams a grasshopper into the mailbox ended up more real than intended. Leonardo DiCaprio later admitted he didn't realize he wasn't supposed to actually kill it. He followed the blocking instructions exactly, unintentionally decapitating the insect. Animal rights monitors on set were upset, but by then it was too late. The shot had already been filmed and was ultimately used in the movie.
I killed him, Gilbert. I killed him.
In Titanic, James Cameron encouraged improvisation, and one of the most spontaneous scenes was when Rose seeks out Jack to thank him for saving her. Their conversation about freedom, adventure, and dreams of riding horses and drinking cheap beer was largely unscripted, as was Jack's playful spitting lesson.
Get some leverage to it and use your arms. You see the range on that thing?
Even DiCaprio's failed attempt, leaving him wiping his chin in front of Rose's mother, was improvised, adding to the scene's charm and authenticity.
May I introduce Jack Dawson?
In The Wolf of Wall Street, the famous "Sell Me This Pen" scene was completely improvised by Leonardo DiCaprio.
You can sell anything. Sell me this fucking pen right here. You can sell anything, sell that.
Inspired by a real-life story from his security detail on set, DiCaprio threw the line into the scene without warning, forcing his co-stars to react naturally.
Sell me that pen.
Can I finish eating first? I need tonight.
Martin Scorsese, known for embracing improvisation, kept it in and later brought it back in the film's final scene, making it a perfect full-circle moment.
Sell me this pen.
Did you know the final line of Don't Look Up was thought up by Leonardo DiCaprio during shooting?
We really did have everything, didn't we? I mean, when you think about it.
While they did film DiCaprio's character delivering the line, it was almost left on the cutting room floor because they were worried it would be too much of a gut punch in an already emotionally heavy scene.
We really did have everything, didn't we?
Maybe. God damn it! I f***ed this whole thing.
In Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Leonardo DiCaprio completely improvised Rick Dalton's meltdown in his trailer after forgetting his lines on Lancer. According to Quentin Tarantino, they shot the scene twice, one where Rick gets the lines right and one where he doesn't.
You're a fucking miserable drunk. You fucking remember and you're a fucking lying.
DiCaprio tapped into his own experiences as an actor, making the scene raw and authentic. Tarantino later admitted it was the most nervous he had ever seen DiCaprio on set, but the result became one of the film's most memorable moments.
You're sitting there like a fucking baboon.
In Romeo and Juliet, after Friar Lawrence suggests marriage, Romeo excitedly runs out of the church and accidentally crashes into a lamp. This was an unscripted mishap, but it fit the scene's frantic energy so well that it was kept in the final cut.
Wisely and slow, they stumble that run fast.
In Titanic, Jack telling Rose to lie over on the bed was an accidental flub, but James Cameron thought that was natural, so he left it in.
Over on the bed, the couch.
You can see Leo almost swearing to himself, thinking he's ruined the take, but it comes off as a nervous 20-year-old thinking how much he just embarrassed himself in front of the girl he loves.
Over on the bed, the couch.
In Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, a flashback shows Rick Dalton training to use a flamethrower and recoiling from the heat it generates. This was DiCaprio's genuine reaction to the flamethrower. Quentin Tarantino thought it was funny and left it in the movie.
All right, that's too hot. Anything we can do about that heat?
In The Wolf of Wall Street, the famous chest-thumping scene during Jordan and Hannah's lunch wasn't in the script. Matthew McConaughey was doing it off-camera as a relaxation technique when Leonardo DiCaprio suggested they add it to the scene. Director Martin Scorsese agreed, and the moment became one of the film's most memorable. In Django Unchained, Leonardo DiCaprio accidentally cut his hand during the dinner scene when he slammed it onto a porcelain teacup. Despite bleeding, he stayed in character and delivered his entire 4-minute monologue.
Hey! Lay your palm flat on that tabletop!
But what made the moment even more impressive was that no one else broke character either. The blood DiCaprio wiped on Kerry Washington's face, however, was fake and added later for dramatic effect. In The Departed, one of the most intense moments comes when Frank Costello questions Billy about the rat in his organization. Jack Nicholson improvised multiple elements of the scene, including pulling a gun on Leonardo DiCaprio, something DiCaprio wasn't expecting. He also burned a drawing in front of him with a lighter, another unscripted move. Despite the surprises, DiCaprio stayed in character, reacting with genuine tension and fear, making the scene even more gripping.
I got this rat, this gnawing, key-eating f***ing rat.
Easily the most quoted moment from Titanic is when Jack shouts,
I'm the king of the world!
This line was made up on the spot. Director James Cameron revealed in an interview with BBC Radio 1 that, after trying several other lines, he fed the now iconic quote to DiCaprio through a walkie-talkie, instructing him to really sell it.
I'm the king of the world!